BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy, ahoy. Welcome to episode 593 of BRB UK. Oh, me, Tim, and Coleman. I'm Dan, by the way, but me, Tim, and Coleman, we've all had a very tedious day of having to adult today, so we're going to go and talk some nonsense about video games, because that is the best way forward. Good evening, Timothy Hibbs. How are you, sir?
I am mightily fine, thank you, Mr. Dan.
Excellent. And can I just say, you look like a man who's channeling massive Deek energy.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm glad I look that way.
Another man who's channeling massive Deek energy is Coleman.
Hi, and hello to the live audience if you are, in fact, watching live.
Well, they are live. They are live. They're live. They're live. They're definitely live. The live audience are live.
Everyone's dead.
Live audience are live and alive.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Good.
Good.
What's happening today?
No,
We've got tired Coleman again. This could go badly, everyone.
You've got. I promise you got tired Coleman, tired Dan, and Tim's got 4 games to talk about.
Tim's got a game and 3 demos to talk about.
Yes.
And 2 of those things are relevant.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I can briefly then, because we're going to need a lot of time for Tim to talk at us about menus. Diablo 4 has just taken over my life.
Oh,
it's the new
that's not a bad
season.
thing.
I know I talked about it last week, but the new season is very, 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 very much fun. Also on the horizon is New Destiny, which, if the noises they're making is sounding like it's going to be very, very, very much fun. So I've got a lot of very, very much fun to look forward to. So yes, I'm just excited about all the future fun. There's not much fun in the present, but there is much fun to come. And it is that future fun that excites me in my fun places.
Future fun.
Future fun. New age fun with a vintage feel.
I hate having to adult. I really do. Coleman,
good.
What are you looking forward to? Because you've played nothing this week.
Well, I mean, I'm still playing Hi-Fi Rush on the Steam Deck. The learning curve is like hit a brick wall at the second. So I'm struggling a lot with certain parts of the game.
Is it your innate sense of rhythm?
I have a pretty good sense of rhythm. I like a lot of rhythm games.
He does.
Thanks, Dan.
That's all right. Anytime.
Wow.
Yeah. It was my confused face.
Like the Rolling Stones 20 years ago.
No, their meds haven't kicked in yet. That's what it is. That's current Rolling Stones before the meds kick in.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush, and there are sections of the rhythm that there's like quick time sections of objects you need to destroy, but it feels like those parts are meant to be rhythmically in time, but aren't. And it's really doing me in trying to get past certain ones of those. And it's such a silly thing, because it's like, if you do it right, it's a 10-second challenge. But I keep restarting it. And I don't know if it's because I'm using Bluetooth headphones and I'm out of time, but it definitely does not seem in sync with the music like everything else is. However, Dan's still doing his rhythmic clapping.
Yeah. Sounds great on audio, that one, Dan.
I am really enjoying the game still, even though that challenge is kind of doing my head in a little bit, but it's still an awesome game.
But on the bright side, I hear they're trying to try and get a very limited physical run of Hi-Fi Rush going. So you might be able to buy a physical copy to throw out the window in rage if it really gets to you.
Oh, fair enough. No, I thought I'd throw the Steam Deck.
Yes, that
off a tube platform.
You can't throw a Steam Deck; they're too massive.
You wouldn't throw a Steam Deck.
There we go. He's looking for it. Look, he's
Intelligence.
You wouldn't throw a Steam Deck
soundboard
off an Oxford Street platform.
You could seriously, if you lob one of those, you could do some serious damage.
You
to someone.
you could derail something. Yeah, you could murder a small child if you weren't looking correctly.
Okay, let's move on. Talking of things that are dangerous to small children, Tim, how are you doing? I understand that you've got.
No, let's not do that segue, please.
We just did. I think you're fine.
No.
Tim is dangerous to small children.
Let's not make that a thing. That is not a thing. No.
Yeah.
What's that coming over the hill? It's Tim Hibbs. Now then.
Now, if we weren't live and we could edit this out, there's so much more I could say.
No. All right,
anyway,
Tim?
something. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's him.
Talk about Tim things.
Talk about Tim. Yes. Tim.
Okay.
So, talking of massive Deeks, you have now acquired a Steam Deck. So
I have indeed.
we have now got a triumvirate of massive Deeks, and we also happen to have 3 cats of the podcast as well. So clearly, where we're going here is we're going to become an internet sensation where it's just going to be an hour-long video of our cats trying to work out how Steam Decks work. I'm just going to put that out there. It'll free my Thursday evenings up.
More successful than I've been. You know, like that's possible.
I think all we need is Dan to pick up a Series S and Tim to pick up a Series X, and then we're all in sync with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
cats and consoles. What we do. That's our next podcast.
Yeah, the cats and consoles sounds a bit like warming up for a beatbox, doesn't it?
Once we've hit 600, we shut the podcast down. We rebrand as cats and consoles.
I like it.
Yeah,
we all get them headphones with the little ears on them.
Oh yeah, good plan.
It's a very Inception move. That kind of cat ears on cat ears.
Cat ears on cat ears.
Cat ears.
Can't find the Inception horn.
Not
that important. I'll do it at a random point where it's not needed.
Okay.
Excellent.
So anyway, Tim, what have you been playing, Tim?
So
Strapping
I've already
kids.
amassed a Steam collection of games where I have now more games than I have time to play already. Which,
welcome to the world of PC gaming.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes me a qualified PC gamer. No, I think that's the way it goes. So I picked up quite a few games in ridiculous prices. Like Dying Light, I picked up for £2.06. I picked up what's the name? Call of Juarez Gunslinger today for £1.09. So yeah, and thanks to Coleman, I also got a few other games as well. Thanks to our Discord, where lots of Steam codes are up there. I nabbed some of the ones that Coleman had. That was so I haven't tried Disco Elysium yet, but I'm looking forward to that.
You are going to love that.
So I haven't played that before, so that was a good get.
Much good.
And the other one I've been enjoying that you gave me, or I got off you, Coleman, is Proteus, I think it is. Like that.
That's a great game.
Proteus. Yeah, old school kind of shoot 'em up in the Doom-esque style kind of. And yeah, I really like that. It seems really good so far. That was a unexpected one for me, but I like that. The things that I've played of slight more relevance, I will briefly go over 2 of them because they're slightly
the judge
less
of that.
relevant. And one more that is a bit more relevant because it's a demo for an upcoming game, so that's slightly more relevant. But I did play a quick bit of Factorio, which I quite liked. That I was obviously playing on Steam Deck. It's verified for the Steam Deck, I believe, or plays reasonably well on there anyway. It was also apparently on Nintendo Switch, out now. You've got different prices, but it's priced at £30, and they said they're never giving discounts.
Yep,
so I'm
curious
correct. As to how you've found prices that are different to that £30, Mr. Coleman. But yeah,
I mean, to be fair, he's talking about £27.52.
Yes, it's not a massive discount, but
if you buy Factorio from the developers directly from their website, then it's £27.52. If you buy it on the Nintendo Switch, it's £28, and I thought that was the highest price. But if it's 30, then
it's 30 on Steam. Yeah, but
yeah,
but I really liked that. I got into it for a bit, but I had to stop playing partly because of user error and partly because of one thing that was possibly slightly more the game's fault. But there was one little mechanic that I couldn't get to work properly. It was the kind of the automated arms that kind of drop things off thing. Basically, you're building a kind of auto-generated mining facility where it's mining materials and then shipping those materials into machines for you. And I found it
Just
difficult.
like Power World.
Yeah, difficult to operate the kind of get the mechanical arms that were moving those things off of the what's the word I'm looking for? The
Anus.
Tractor
production
belts?
things. Yes, conveyor
Yeah,
belts.
conveyor
Off the
belt.
conveyor
That's what I
belts
said.
into the machines. I couldn't get those arms to work properly, and that kind of added a stumbling point to the game. I will go back to it at some point and play a bit more because I quite enjoyed what I did, and it's a slightly different game. It's a kind of mining management game almost kind of thing, but it seems like you build a lot of automated things, and that could work quite nicely. It kind of scales up quite well. But yeah, as I said, that's one I'll go back to a little bit more. I enjoyed my time with it until I got a bit stuck. But I had so much to play that I've just been kind of moving on and playing other things. I also had a quick go at Hypercharged Unboxed, which is one I've been interested in for a bit. This, I think, is it in early access at the moment?
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yep, so it's not fully out yet.
Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's just
Is
a
it
demo.
not? Is it out now? Okay,
Just a
maybe
demo.
I just downloaded the demo.
You just
Well, I might-
downloaded the demo.
Yeah, I might pick it up at some point because I quite enjoyed my time with it. It's a kind of wave-based shooter. It's all kind of set up in the you are a small toy action figure in a kind of world where
I'm not.
You are, Dan.
I'm
You
not.
are. You
I'm
are.
not. I'm
You
not. I
are.
just want to
You're
be a real boy.
You're
Tim.
not a real boy. You're not a real boy.
You are a toy. You're an insignificant
Yes.
plastic plaything.
And the demo takes place in like a little garage, and you've got like 3 different bases you're defending, one on top of a car, one on top of a desk, and one at the back of the garage. And then you set up like automated traps and things to try and stop waves of other toys attacking them and stuff. But yeah, I really liked that. I thought that was really good fun. I might hold off buying it just now just because I've got quite a lot to play, and so I might wait for it to go on sale at some point. And I think it would be really good in multiplayer as well. So yeah,
Has been known to happen quite a lot on Steam stuff
Yes.
going on. So welcome to the wonderful world of Steam
Yes.
Deckage.
yeah, there's some cheap games out there. And it does. The Steam Deck does mean I can take advantage of that now, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm probably going to spend too much money on too many games very rapidly. I've already bought like 6 games this week, and I've only spent like £16.
My sweet summer child.
Yeah.
Welcome
Tim,
to the madness.
I can recommend 2 games that play really well on the Steam Deck.
Yep.
One is Hi-Fi Rush from the amazing developers Tango Gameworks, which I sense good things for that studio. I really do. They're going to go a long way.
That's a good
and also-
recycled joke there. Well done.
Yeah.
I know, I'm going to do that every week now. Sea
Responsible
of Thieves.
joke recycling.
Sea of Thieves, which I
Oh, I
know
haven't
I know
considered
it is
that.
on games. I know it is on Game Pass, but if you ever see it on sale, it is worth picking that up on Steam Deck because that's a good one to
Okay.
mess around and put it in the solo mode or just
Yeah.
go sail around and like do stuff that's not too strenuous in the game while you have the TV on or something. It's a good one. That
Bringing
good
that round
de-stressor.
to a more recent rumor as well. I don't know if you heard, but there's rumors that Steam is going to be on Xbox fairly soon as well. Like there's fairly concrete rumors.
We've had
that
this
that
rumor
is
for a
something
while.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
I-
seems to be solidifying to an actual thing.
I mean, they need something to put games on the system.
Yeah, that helps.
Wow. I'm not sure. I'm not
I've bought
sure
2
that's-
Xboxes. I'm allowed to criticize them.
Yeah, I am not sure if that makes a lot of sense for either of them, to be honest with you. But
You don't
there we
make a
go.
lot of sense.
I mean,
I
that's
know.
also true. But yeah,
You remember when Steam partnered with PlayStation and it was like the week before the big PlayStation hack?
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, that's good. But yeah, the slightly more relevant demo that I tried this week, just because it's for an upcoming game, is a game called Nights in Tight Spaces. Now, this was one that was, I can't remember where it was announced, but it was announced fairly recently. Maybe a Nintendo Direct or something.
But Tim, that
Yep.
sounds very close to Fights in Tight Spaces.
It is. It's because it's the sequels to Fights in Tight Spaces, which makes a bit more sense of
What?
the name. But yeah, it's a turn-based grid kind of orientate, isometric grid setup.
Don't
turn-based
don't
card
start off with
brawler.
that nonsense again.
Which
Last
ticks a lot
time
of-
you used that word, it got you into all kinds of trouble,
Yes.
Tim.
it it ticks a lot of the right boxes for me. And I really enjoyed my time with the demo. It's one of those things where it does give you the ability to undo a move, but only if you're still in the same passage of play, which was my undoing, because that's how I died. Because I did something and it moved on to the next passage of play, and I was like, no, undo. But yeah, it's slightly unforgiving in that sense, but generally it seems like a really good, interesting system. The graphical style's a bit weird, like video viewers, you may have been able to see, but for audio people, it's kind of simplified, monocolored, but like monocolored to a particular color for a particular character. So like, I can't remember which way around it is, but I think your character's in red and then other characters are in like green and blue and white. But yeah, like it's an odd kind of style, but I kind of like it. It kind of pops reasonably nicely on the Steam Deck screen as well. I think it's a good fit for a portable platform as well. So I think that'll work well on there. It's definitely on my wish list. Like, it's one of the, as soon as I finished playing the demo and I died and played the demo, I was like, okay, I don't need to play more of the demo. I'm just going to wish list that and buy that fairly soon after it comes out. Because yeah, that's a definite Tim style game, I think, basically. So I enjoyed my time with that one as well, basically.
I like it's a similar style to Fights in Tight Spaces, but it's slightly more detailed. It's a good look, because like the previous one, I like the look of it, but I got very excited because I thought it was a spin-off to Super Hot before they went Fights in Tight Spaces. And then this one, it's got more of a kind of characteristic look to it, where they like the backgrounds are more detailed and the characters look more detailed, even though they are simplified at the same time. Looks cool.
And as the name suggests, it's got a kind of more medieval style setting, and you've got like archers and more kind of melee combat focused people with swords and shields and stuff. And yeah, like as I said, played really well. I really enjoyed my time with it.
So you too can get medieval on your enemy's bottom.
But yes,
I was trying not to say ass.
Well, you just congratulations, Coleman.
Arse in tight spaces.
Willies.
Or knights in tight arses.
What? No.
But yeah,
no.
That
Just
was a good
no,
one.
Tim.
That comes with a recommendation.
What?
I suggest trying out the demo and seeing if you like it as well. But yeah, I'm definitely down for that game. So that is one I will be buying at some point. I have a question about my Steam Deck.
Yes.
Well, I should say your Steam Deck, because I haven't actually paid you for it yet, Dan, as well.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No refunds.
I thought Dan said you could have it for free. I definitely remember him saying that.
That'd be nice of you, Dan. Thanks. Nice
just before he drunkenly fell over and threw up.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah. When it asks you on the way into a game, if you want to play, I can't remember the exact phraseology of the terminology it uses. It says, like, do you want to play normal mode or something? Or do you want to play compatibility mode?
Select the default one. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't understand what the difference is between the two. And
I could give with your very erudite explanation of what you saw, obviously makes it very difficult to know what the heck you're actually on about.
You should be all right, Tim, because most Steam Deck games, they tend to kind of they switch into a default Steam Deck mode. Yeah. But if you cross-play and play stuff on the PC and then play stuff on the Steam Deck, some of them, it's rare, but some of them
get a bit confused.
You play on the Steam Deck and then you play on the PC and go, wow, this looks like crap. Oh, it's inherited the Steam Deck options. And then you change it to your desktop and then you go back to the Steam Deck. And go, why can't it load without dying? Oh, I remember.
Most games are pretty good about saving the right settings in the right places. I mean, generally,
it gives you a good warning whether it's verified, playable, or unplayable, which is quite good.
I mean, the verified stuff is more of a guide than anything else.
Yes,
99 times out of 100, if it's got a green tick, you're going to be all right. There's still a couple of edge cases where you might need to do some tweaking, but if you're willing to get your Google out, Tim, you can actually find.
How dare you.
I know. There are some really good. I think Proton DB has got some good advice on settings you can tweak to make things as the right balance of visual fidelity versus improvement. The best tip I can give you is the sweet spot for frame rate on the Steam Deck is probably 40 frames a second.
I haven't found that to be a problem. It was just asking me a question. I didn't understand why it was asking me every time I booted up a game. And I have the ability to turn that question off. I just didn't understand what the question was asking. So I thought you might shed some light on it. But hey. Yeah,
well, I'm glad we've used several minutes of podcast time for something that could have been adequately answered via a Google search. Thank you, Tim, once again.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, also, can I use mods? Is that a thing on Steam?
Yes.
You could, with your level of technical expertise, would advise against it.
Yeah, you could, but I wouldn't. Maybe if you do the older, like if you're playing Fallout or Skyrim or something, and they have the mods built in thing, that's probably a more advisable route to go if you don't know too much about. Yeah.
No, that's definitely the approach that I was going to take. But yeah.
Before we move on to your console game, though, Tim,
yes.
Dan did put something in the chat privately. I'm just going to share this. So he's calculated your Steam collection value and pile of shame value.
Right.
This is an American currency. So Tim's Mighty Mutt Steam ID Steam collection value was at $1,053.39.
Nice.
Pile of shame value
£16. Oh, yeah.
The pile of shame value, the games you haven't played yet, that is $318.82. Now, best value game, Payday 2.
Now, bear in mind that is based on the ticket value of them, not if you got it on sale, it still gives you the full value. So, yes. I tried to look up Kev's, but he's set his profile to private, which I think is very unfair.
Oh, you can do that. I better do that. Mine is, so Damn It Coleman on Steam ID. Steam collection value, $4,303.17. My pile of shame value is half of that. More than half of that. $2,530.99. My best value game is Costume Quest.
Interesting.
How it works out the best value?
Especially
hours
Payday
to
2,
money.
But,
hours to money.
I mean, my ex used to play that game a lot on my profile, so that might be where all my game time has gone on Steam. I don't know. But I swear I've played games more than that. Dan's one.
Woo!
Dan, read yours.
Okay, so bear in mind that I've been a humble subscriber. I've been a Humble Bundle subscriber for probably the past 7 years. So there's a lot of things I got for very little money, but that still show up at full price. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Okay, bear that in mind.
Okay, I've got the drop ready.
Okay, so my Steam collection value is $6,915.79. The pile of shame value is $3,934.02. My best
basically
value game,
4,000.
Shame.
Yeah. My best value game is Vampire Survivors, which cost me 14 cents per hour.
Shame.
Destiny, because I've bought it 18 times, doesn't show up there.
Shame. Shame.
I love shame.
I have Destiny 2 on Steam.
Also, a beat 'em up's good on the deck.
Yeah, I hear Street Fighter 6 is pretty
that was a bit
good
expensive.
on there.
I was looking at Injustice 2 because that's currently a $5. So
yeah,
beat 'em ups versus
or
fighting
Skullgirls because
games.
I don't own that.
Yeah, I thought you meant beat 'em ups, not fighters. I quite enjoyed playing because I picked up, I think it was Tekken 7 on the cheap, and it was like a day of, I think it was last EGX. So a lot of the time I was queuing up waiting to play games. I was sat there trying to beat my score, like get my Dan level up through Tekken 7.
Well, thank you.
Not that Dan.
No.
Your Dan level up.
Yeah, you know, your dojo level thing.
Dan.
Mm.
Dan.
Kev says, Uar. That's the wrong
Right.
Get off my line.
He says, Uar, I own 1,200 plus games on Steam, so it would be a lot.
Aren't you a
That's how he
fancy
talks
lad?
in real life. Check out VRB with me and thee.
VRB?
Bean Tim. Yeah. All right. What's the main game you've been playing this week, Tim?
Jesus Christ, Kev. He's right. All of a sudden it's now visible. I'm just going to read Kev's out.
Right.
Steam collection value. $19,814.
I just saw that.
And his pile of shame. His pile of shame. $13,828.66. That's a lot of shame.
I'm a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt, and my butt smells, and I like to kiss my own butt.
I'd buy that for $1.
Wow.
I hope he didn't spend much more than $1 on some of those.
Well,
games
he
that
evidently
hasn't played.
did.
Yes.
He evidently has.
Tim, main game.
He's
Main
bought
game.
beer
So-
3 times. Why?
This week's main game is a bit more
There's 3 of them.
current and a bit more with it this
Fair,
week.
fair, fair.
Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and I will point out, because it's slightly relevant, I have been playing this on the Series S rather than the Series X.
Ooh.
So maybe
how's
Mr.
that working
Coleman
out?
can find some time to play it this week. I don't know if it's really your thing, Mr. Coleman, but I think it's
Still
going
haven't
to
finished
be
the first one.
a graphical powerhouse in the first. Well, neither did I, but I thought I'd just dive in, and it does give you a whole recap, and so I have kind of spoiled the story for the first
Yes,
one
but I
now.
want to play the first one.
I'm just gonna. It'll just be a prequel.
Look, Tim
in the
just wants a
future.
friend
That's
to
fine.
talk to someone about this with. That's
I
all he
know,
wants.
But
Yeah.
they patched the first one for Series X, so the
Yeah.
next time I subscribe to Game Pass, I'll give that another go. Although it is on the deck.
Ooh.
You can't see that running well.
The first one does.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was a bit concerned going in it just being on the Series S. And I would imagine that there are some things like some of the water effects and stuff that probably look a little bit better on the X. But I have to say, I've been blown away with how good this game looks, considering I am playing it on the Series S. Like, it is a graphical feast for the eyes. It really is a kind of anyone doesn't know, it's a very sort of dark take and story.
Your moist
on,
eyeballs, Sam.
kind
Moist
of
eyeballs.
What's the right phraseology? It's not quite medieval. It's even pre-medieval, I would say.
Dark Ages.
Dark
It's
Ages,
Norse,
kind of.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry.
I thought it was Norse.
It's a Norse setting, but I think the first game was like they talk about the Northmen invading your land. So I think
And you
that's
journey into hell.
yeah,
Hela.
and then
Or hell.
this one
Yeah.
is
Hull.
more you
Hull,
journeying, like the setup and the story that it does in the very opening of the game. So I don't think it's spoiling too much. Is that you have been deliberately captured by the slavers to journey back to their lands and go back to the source of what's happening there to try and head that off. And I won't spoil the story because it does kind of go places from there as well. But it's a really like narrative heavy game. To steal a slight phrase from Dan, it's a bit of a gussied up walking sim with a bit of combat.
Yay!
But it does
Woo!
that really, really well. Like, it is an audio and visual treat for the eyes and ears. I played a bit of it just on the speakers on the TV, and that was fine. It goes up another level when you put like surround sound headphones on as well.
You
Like,
want the 7.1.
it is amazing with headphones on as well. Like, and that it is like the kind of the narrative is a lot of the narrative is delivered through a kind of
He's going to say
almost
frame
half
narrative.
like whispered voices in your head, and that
Yeah.
kind of comes from
In a monologue.
it's
Sort of.
half of it's a kind of inner monologue, and half of it's almost narration of what's happening in the game as well. But it's all kind of like whispered to you as though they're kind of like whispers of doubt and kind of things that are kind of working against you. And there's mostly female voices, but there's a kind of very evil sounding male voice in your head as well. Again, I won't spoil the story setup for exactly how that comes in, but like that, they're all kind of whispering doubts in your mind, and kind of like your inner thoughts are coming out, and it is kind of focused on the mental health aspect of that as well. But the presentation of that is fantastic. I would say like it's kind of like top class, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if there's, and I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more games following on from the first one that does more of this as well. And the early portion of the game I didn't ever complete the first one. I did play a good few hours of it and talked about it on the show before. I can't remember how far through the first one I actually got, but the first level of this feels very much indicative of my memories of that. And you're seeing a bit of it in the videos here, the puzzles where you're kind of solving things by standing in a particular perspective to line up a kind of symbol through different objects in the environment and stuff. That I seem to remember from the first game. I'm not sure if I'm actually remembering that, but it invoked the same memories and stuff like that. From there on, it goes a little bit more off course, and there's a few more different things that are different to what I saw in the first game. The combat is still very similar to how it was, but they've kind of improved upon it a little bit and kind of made it a bit more streamlined. But it's very much the kind of focused on mainly one-on-one combat. You do have things where you're taking on multiple enemies at once, but you'll generally face off against one opponent at once. And it feels kind of very brutal. Visceral is an overly used word to describe this type of combat, but it does really suit it as well. And it feels very oppressive.
Do you see any viscera?
Yep. No.
Do you see it? Right, it's not visceral then.
Okay.
Just
but
crunchy.
it feels very oppressive. It feels
Rustic.
very much like the whole thing's kind of ganging up on you, and it's kind of, very much like in your face, and everything is very kind of, it's kind of got a heavy weight to everything as well. But
So do I.
yeah. Bit like Coleman.
Famesies.
Heavy and hairless. But yeah, like I really enjoy my time with it. The combat is somewhat simplistic, but suits the kind of setting, and I kind of enjoy it. At first, I was like, oh, there doesn't seem to be a fail state because you can not do things a few times and still get away with it. But there are actual fail states. When I got a bit further in the game, I did actually fail one of the combat things, and it kind of drops you back in. But it drops you back in fairly quickly. Like, the whole thing is a bit more about the cinematic presentation of the story, and like it still looks quite nice in the combat and stuff as well. But it's really more about kind of walking around the environment, solving puzzles, and then coming across these combat things as well. Like like it does feel like the whole world's a bit out to get you. The environment, as I said, you're going back to this Norse kind of environment. It doesn't exactly explain where it is, but it feels a bit more like, I would say, like kind of Iceland more than most Norse kind of places. But it's very,
Iceland's
especially
fairly
at first,
Norse.
it's, yes, but there's a slight difference to that in the fact that it is a bit more rocky and volcanic and kind of,
Icelandic.
Yes, it feels a bit more barren, and especially the first environment you arrive on is a bit more like that. You're a bit more battered and bruised, and you're kind of limping your way through this environment. And as I said, the whole thing feels quite impressive. There's a underground level I'm doing at the moment, and that feels like the darkness is almost working against you in that environment as well. And there's a whole light and dark mechanic, and the kind of things going behind that as well. As I said, you've got those kind of whisperings in your ears of not just what's going on, but also what your fears are, and that you want to turn back, and that you don't want to go forward, and all this type of thing as well. So it feels like those voices are kind of pulling at threads and working against you a bit as well, basically. But
one thing I would say there, because I just wanted one. I know you've only put a couple of hours into this so far, but
I would say I'm about halfway through the game though, from what I've played. But
yeah. So I mean, obviously the original Hellblade was kind of really held aloft as a kind of quite a masterpiece of storytelling using it through the medium of video games. But reviews for the sequel really have been pretty mixed. Some people said, yeah, it's a fantastic bit of art. Others have kind of said, well, like you said, it's a gussied up walking simulator with very little going on in terms of gameplay
game.
And
and that is a very reductive way to look at it. And as I said, I saw those mixed reviews going in, and I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. Partly why I wanted to play it and see what my own opinion is. And I'm glad I am coming on the more favorable side of that overall. Like, I have, like, enjoyable almost feels like the wrong word, because it's such an oppressive horrifying place to be in that it feels like you're more surviving your way through the game than enjoying it. But it's still a really enjoyable experience. I think it is a absolute like top quality masterclass, like top of the class kind of presentation of like video game story done to this way. And like I don't know about you, like I want more games to be like Hellblade, like Senua's Saga and the first one. Like I want more games to be more of a visual delight that and it's weird because they mentioned the word sacrifice so much in this game as well, like that you'd think this one was the one that was called Sacrifice as well, but but they don't mention the word Saga, but yeah, as I said, like it's so good that I'm really keen to go back to it and complete the story and see where that's going. And the setup and stuff like that as well. As I said, I don't want to spoil any of the story side of things because I think that's a really important part of playing through the game. But I advise anyone to give it a go, like especially if you've got access through it on Game Pass. As I said, I was a bit doubtful going in because I'd heard those slightly mixed reviews, and I was a bit doubtful, like, would I get the full experience playing it on the Series S? But both of those doubts have been quashed by the playing through the first part of the game. I as I said, that may not continue as I go throughout, but from what I've played so far, and I think I've played about half of the game, I think it's fantastic. Like, I would say that if you don't have access to it on Game Pass, $49.99 is quite a steep asking price, and I wonder if it wouldn't be that price if it wasn't on Game Pass, if you see what I mean, because it's the perceived value of what it's giving you for it being on Game Pass kind of thing. But that said, like, whatever you can do to support this style of game, I'd like to see more of them. I'd very much like to see Ninja Theory to continue. We spoke about it in previous weeks that we're worried that that might not be the case with the head of the studio leaving and Xbox making cuts all over the place.
It looks like they might be getting their sequel and they might be getting another spin-off for Microsoft. A new game for Microsoft.
And that is great because I think I personally would like to see more shorter experiences that are really well produced and to a really high value. Yes. He's
not produced to a very high value though.
Rather than massively over bloated open world games that have just got devils vomited all over them and stuff like that.
Again,
and I think I heard somewhere that there was quite a few bits of this that were left on the cutting room floor, and like, you know, and they kind of streamlined the game to be what it is. And that means that what you get is a really high quality experience. And as I said, I've really enjoyed my time with it, although enjoyed may be the wrong word. But yeah, I encourage anyone that can play it in any format to do so because it's like really, really high quality.
All right. Well, that's Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. I couldn't really tell from Tim's description, but I think he quite likes it.
I think I might have done.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I nodded off a bit somewhere in the middle of that, but I agree. Yeah, I think he likes it.
I think it was the third time of saying I enjoy it, but I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't the first one, that was the game that got some kind of some press around it because the developers said if like a mold or something in the game took you over to a certain point, then it would delete your game save, and then the game came out and everyone went, no, it doesn't. I think that was
being a thing.
Senua's Sacrifice that
okay.
That was
you had to sacrifice your save, yeah.
But just because I thought, well, that would be an actual thing because was it Nier or Automata, and one of the endings of that game is you just select to delete your file and it plays like this nice little music while it's playing things in reverse through the credits while it is deleting your save.
Wow, that's quite cool.
Yeah. Anywho, that seems like a like from Tim, but not for $49.99.
No,
for Game Pass.
For those sweet pretend Game Pass dollars that you pay every month.
Yes. And if, like me, you've not finished the first one, it usually goes on sale on Steam pretty cheap. Or it's also on Game Pass.
It is also on Game Pass. It's on my pile of shame.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, should we do some news?
I think we should. Hit me up with the news, Coleman.
Okay. It's a sad day.
Boom.
I mean, it was a sad day yesterday, it was a sad day the day before of the day this podcast comes out. But the day we're recording right now was a sad day.
It was a happy
because
day yesterday.
we knew of big cuts happening around Sony that was announced in February. They were doing mass layoffs for around 900 staff, which was going to axe about 8% of its global PlayStation workforce. That was going to affect Insomniac, Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, and Firesprite, but also
none of them have ever made any good games, so
Naughty Dog.
I was joking. Like they're some of the best things in the world. But anyway,
Insomniac, Guerrilla, Firesprite. But also, more sadly, the London PlayStation studio was going to close, which specifically quite sad for me. If you're watching the video, I've got a little background on, and it is the inside of the Sony London studio kind of lobby way. And this is something I see every morning on my way to work. I walk past London studio. So that is quite sad. And we've got, friends that work there and know people that worked there in the past. And end of an era in such a way. How you guys are feeling? It is poop. It's a very poignant way of putting it, Tim.
Especially as they had made very good PSVR games as well.
They were the driving force of PlayStation VR. Really,
I mean, to be fair, someone had to be.
Their output.
But I wonder if they were making a PSVR 2 game, if it would have made them more indispensable at the moment because Sony don't have a lot on the slate. I don't know if that was the case, and I don't know who was in charge of the decision making there. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it would have because Sony don't care about the PlayStation VR.
That's also true. I'm getting more fed up with them not making anything to back that up. But
let's sell our PSVR 2 headsets and buy Quests, but don't tell anyone because that might drop the value of the headset. But yes, PlayStation London Studio, they went on their X account and they issued a statement thanking the players for their support. They said, for over 20 years, London Studio has been home to some exceptionally talented and wonderful people in the games industry. As we close doors and all go forward to new adventures, we wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to all our past and present players, colleagues that have supported us over the years. We've had a wild and wonderful journey.
Oh, I hope they all land on their feet quickly.
Yeah.
I do too.
P.S. Sorry about SingStar Ultimate Party.
They made
like
iPad.
SingStar.
They did make iPad
like
as well. And Wonderbook
they make lots
as well.
Of things. Didn't they do The Getaway?
Yes, they did.
And The Getaway too.
Yes.
I
Getaway was all right. I quite
and
liked
then
Getaway.
And then I moved to London and went, this is nothing like The Getaway. I remember keeping my copy of Getaway and then moving to London and then booting it up. Went, this is all wrong.
This street isn't here.
Sad times. But fortunately, even though there is massive layoffs all across the gaming industry and horrible news that we keep reporting on, it actually seems that the UK is one of the places that there is quite a large, considerable amount of growth for the games industry. So hopefully they do find a way of getting back on their feet.
Here's hoping.
All right, here's one that screams for me alarm bells in some form or another.
Yes.
Okay.
IGN Entertainment.
Right.
They have acquired a few different outlets.
Right.
They picked up Eurogamer, GI, VG 24/7, Rock Paper Shotgun, and more under the umbrella.
Flippin' heck.
The Gamer Network, basically, in its entirety, minus EGX.
If you can think of a gaming outlet for news, chances are IGN, or more likely Ziff Davis, the owner, now owns them. So that's kind of weird. I don't know how much you are up on your wrestling history, but at the point where Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who we don't talk about anymore, bought his competition of the WCW and ECW, that's when the wrestling went quite crap for a while because there was no competition. And you need competition to drive innovation.
You do. You're true words. You do true words, Coleman. But it is quite incredible how much then of the gaming press they own. That is quite an incredible chunk of it. Which really kind of makes me think, are they going to be able to, I kind of really hope that some of the more interesting, incisive work like Digital Foundry do is still going to be able to continue doing what it's always done. I mean, I think that's always a challenge when these big companies come in and buy stuff, is that it kind of, there's a lot of regression to the mean in terms of the way that things are done.
Digital Foundry might be a bit safer than the rest of the people in those organizations. And just because Digital Foundry, Outside Xbox, and Hookshot, which own a load of other sites, they're all in a slightly different boat because Gamer Network owns shares of them rather than owning them outright, basically. So they still have a degree of independence, but how much shares they own and how much creative control they have and all that type of stuff, I don't know exactly the extent of that being the case. I would point out this is particularly bad news for the UK games media, basically, because a lot of these are based in the UK. Eurogamer was mainly based in Brighton, or had the headquarters in Brighton at least. And so this affects a lot of people that we actually know, or I actually know, I'm not sure, this is not great news all round, basically. And as you say, the lack of competition in general.
If I were to speculate, I wouldn't be surprised if in future you're going to see layoffs in these specific websites, but also you're going to see the same news regurgitated across all the different websites. You know, much like American news media, they're all the same company, even though they have different brandings. But it's just a website you can just chuck the same articles out to now. That's what it feels like.
I think what's worth noting, though, is that what hasn't been included in the sale is the UK-based events, EGX and MCM as well.
Yes, they were picked up previously by ReedPop? Yeah. Who deal with PAX, PAX in general over in the US. So,
ReedPop had previously bought out the Gamer Network in general, so they'd already had different ownership. It was Rupert Lohman who was originally, I believe, the owner. I'm not sure if he owned it in conjunction with other people and he represented other people. But yeah, so they'd already kind of sold out to ReedPop, which was already an American organization. And we'd already discussed, I think, previously that EGX and MCM are kind of smidging together as well. So this is, even more of a kind of mass syndication of all games media stuff, because ReedPop were slightly separate and seemed to not entirely stick to too many hands on things, and leave them to kind of run as they were. At least that's the way it's seen from the outside. But you would imagine that Ziff Davis are going to be a bit more hands on and have a bit more an effect on these things. As you say, the one thing to worry about first and foremost is layoff. There have been a few of these people. I think it was the owner of VG247. Like putting up stuff saying, would people back a Patreon for VG247 and stuff like that? So it does seem that people are making plans to do that. Please look out for the people doing that and support them where you can, because I think this is going to be a really tough time for UK games media going forward, which is not great.
You said syndication, but as one Richabon Kirkle Monkey Doogleface, he says, yay, Sind Geek. Sind Geek.
I see what he did there. Congratulations. You are a card, sir.
Very droll. Very droll. Where's my rim shot? I've lost the rim shot, guys. Happens every time. Every time I need it, I lose it.
You should label it.
Genuinely. Oh, there it is. Hey, syndication. Syndic. He's the prime minister.
Situators.
Can't get
no, that's the mayor. You're confusing your people of a certain descent, Coleman. That's very shameful.
I'm very tired.
Yes. Okay.
Are Wales excited for the Euros?
Yes, because England are going to lose.
I'm excited for a general election, but still.
Right. Moving on, because Coleman is giggling like an inept.
It's because I found the rim shot finally.
There we go.
And definitely overused it now. Thanks.
What, this?
Oh,
Yes.
God. Right.
Shame.
So, Coleman, back in the room. Back in the room, Coleman. Coleman, back in the room. Back in the room, Coleman.
Let's
Coleman.
lay off the Asians.
Coleman.
That was what you were looking for.
I love that story.
Right. I understand, though, that IGN are not the only people who've done some acquiring this week. Coleman.
Oh, yeah. This one's interesting. So Nintendo's picked up Shiver Entertainment from Embracer
Shiver me
Group,
timbers.
which we know Embracer Group, they're in a lot of debt and they're trying to get their way out of it by any means necessary.
Sell.
As long as they don't have to sell the rights to Lord of the Rings, any means necessary. And yes, they've offloaded Shiver Entertainment onto Nintendo. You might be asking, who are Shiver Entertainment? I don't really
Coleman.
familiar with that studio.
Coleman. Who are they, Coleman? Tell me, who are they? Who are they?
Let me tell you.
Okay. All right.
So Shiver Entertainment,
That made no sense.
they've been very good at the old porting to Nintendo Switch. They did the pretty serviceable port of Hogwarts Legacy, which is quite a game to shrink down and stick on a Nintendo Switch. One that
they use magic though, Coleman. It's easy. Just use magic.
They did. They also did another pretty popular port, but probably not for the same reasons. It's impressive they got it running on a Switch, but it's quite the downgrade when you look at it. It's the very impressive Mortal Kombat 1 on Nintendo Switch.
Finish it.
That's an old
looks
game now,
very
Coleman.
odd.
Mortal Kombat 1 was a long time ago. So, you know.
Shut up. It's a reboot. Kind of. It's, what do they call it when you get the like legacy sequels that are a reboot of the franchise?
Remaster?
A mess.
No.
There's a CEO nightmare. SEO nightmare, rather.
Well, I think there's two terms: a soft reboot, and then there's another. So hold on.
So Coleman. We've got to pause proceedings.
We got a
here
comment saying Richard Bon Kirko Dougal face says, "I demand a rim shot."
But that is for describing the studio as Expecto Portronus.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Expecto Portronus.
That is some beautiful work right there.
That's a top
beautiful work.
Top quality.
Beautiful work.
Good stuff.
All right.
Good. What was I saying? Soft legacy sequels that turn into reboots, or kind of reboots. They're called soft reboots, or there was a term that was in the Scream films that's really bad. I think the
Scream films were really bad, but that's complete
I like
coincidence.
the Scream films, but hey,
really?
That's not the conversation we're doing right now. I'm trying to remember the term, and I cannot remember it. Oh well. If anyone remembers that, let me know.
Re-screams.
It's definitely not that. Okay, and the last one. Valve's next game has reportedly been leaked, and here you go.
They released the Valve.
Might be a reboot call. I think that's close.
Third time's the charm on this year, Richard.
Resequel.
Yes,
I think it's something like that.
It's a terrible term that makes no sense.
That's not even a word.
Okay, so Valve's next game has been reportedly leaked. This is the game Deadlock, which has gone out to many different sources online.
Right.
There's a guy, a Valve reporter called Tyler McVicker, who published a video to YouTube and has claimed that Deadlock is in a closed alpha with an announcement that is said to be imminent. And this will be a kind of Overwatch-style game with 6-on-6 battles, with big maps and 4 lanes, and I don't care about another Overwatch style game. But here's some
it's
slides.
Not Marvel Rivals GTFO.
Nope.
But you can't compare Marvel Rivals to Overwatch. The NDA says so.
Yeah, that's true. And you can't say that it's bad, so we won't do that.
Yeah,
but this is like last time. Like this is Valve of Half-Life and Portal, and then the last time it's like Valve's got a big game coming. What is it? It's a card game.
Yeah.
All right. Valve's got a big game coming. What is it? It's an Overwatch type game.
Why didn't they just make a sequel to Team Fortress if they wanted to make that style?
They did already. It's called Team Fortress 2.
I know. Yeah. Team Fortress 3 would be the sequel to that, Dan.
Dream Fortress.
No.
Dream Fortress.
Come on, time for sleep now, Coleman. I think you've had too much excitement for one day. Come on.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's a shame because when I heard new Steam game, I was like, ooh. And then when they said what it was, I was like, oh.
I think their last game, which is a free game on the Steam Deck, Tim, if you've not tried
Yes,
it.
I've
there was the
downloaded it.
Portal spin-off.
Yes, I haven't played it. Desk Job, I think it was. No?
Aperture
That was
Desk
Desk
Job.
Job.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I've
Just,
downloaded
by
it.
the
I
way,
started it.
Quick, massive Deek callback. Portal 2 work great on Steam Deck. Well worth.
Yes, I was. I think they're on my wish list. I'm just waiting for them to go on sale
Nice.
because I don't need them yet, but they will go on sale at some point. Hey.
Richard Kirk
Half-Life
says
2 was the first game I played on the thing. By the way, yeah, I keep on going to call it a Switch, but it's definitely a deck.
surely, Richard Kirk says, back in your name, Coleman, I'll do the portmanteau puns. Surely those would be punmanteaus. Thank you.
Punmanteau.
Coleman Toes.
Ooh. Colemanteau. If you're happy and you know it, Colemanteau.
Common toes.
That wasn't the right button, but we're doing it anyway.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, Jesus. Right, Coleman's clearly having a meltdown. Jeez. Right, we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap this show up because
Get us out of here, Dan, before
it's all
the
gone horribly
soundboard
wrong.
takes over.
Right.
Back in your lane, Dr. Dan.
Dynamite drop-in money. That broadcast school has really paid off.
Okay, well, we are going to wrap the show up but not before I remind you that you can buy things with my face on it. That's right, things with my face are on the internet. You should go to tpublic.com/stores/BRB.
Yes.
You can buy all kinds of sweet, sweet merch. And Tim threatened that he was going to do some more t-shirts soon, and one of them, he needed a photo of Coleman.
Yeah.
Just gonna
What?
put that
Coleman
out
doesn't
there.
know about this yet. This is live information for Coleman, but I have a planned Coleman t-shirt. I think you're going to like
My
it.
solicitor will be in contact.
Good.
No, Tim will just say, no, parody laws at you
Your
repeatedly until you
solicitor's
go
a
away.
field mouse, Coleman.
I don't think that works.
has no jurisdiction.
I know
here.
it doesn't. Makes him feel better.
Fun fact: the go-to solicitor my family have used in the past is also an Elvis impersonator.
Sweet.
Does he do both at once? So you can get
That's
extra
like
value
a
for money.
running joke.
Oh.
That's like a running joke I've had with my friends back home. Is the idea of like you needing him to defend you on some kind of life-altering decision, and he turns up in his jumpsuit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
get
It's
out.
Ron
Okay.
Deere.
Thank you very much.
Jeez.
I think you find a citizen on counts of murder. In the second degree.
Anyway,
I hope you never
What have I
have
been
to have
represented
him
for?
represent you in court, Coleman. Right, that's your t-shirt now, Coleman. It's going to be you as a court sketch done by, bad artists. You with Elvis
right.
giving the old objection finger from...
The objection. Yes, that objection finger. I thought it was a different finger he was going to be given. Sorry, I'm back in the room now. Right. tpublic.com/store/BRB. Tim, Tuesday is a Tuesday. Tell us
Yes.
all about Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
Well, it's after the
is
Monday, you see,
indeed
and before
a
the
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
What?
Don't worry, carry on.
Okay. I have to. I'm going to have to
Thrown
space the
Tim.
time because I haven't done that. I usually do the post on a Thursday so that I have the information available to my hand. But
Oh.
I have not done the
Oh,
post.
can I make
and
it up
Do
then?
not remember what the game
So
is.
Tim is going to be
Yes.
giving away back rubs and foot massages in
That is,
Tabletop
that is
Tuesday.
not true at all. I am
You
not
will
touching
be on the
anyone's
top of the
feet.
table, and Tim will be giving you a relaxing back rub whilst
Just
yes.
just while you vamp for
Yeah.
the information, Tim, I'd
Yep.
like to let you know, like as my old granddad used to say, each and every Tuesday is Tabletop Tuesday. That's where we go to the loading bar in Stoke, Newington, and play tabletop games. Each and every week, we tend to have a featured game. You can go and play that featured game, and if you play that featured game, you get entered into a prize draw.
I think
One
Colin's
lucky
been
winner will be
using
picked from
AI
the
again.
prize draw, and they can pick They can win the game to take home. What is the game, Tim? Do you remember?
Of course.
Did I vamp enough time?
No.
Do you need more sound effects?
Have you been feeding the podcast to AI again?
This week is an extra special week, and I'm extra stupid for forgetting.
Yes.
But yes, we have a returning special guest. They have a game that is currently on Kickstarter, and you can go and back it on Kickstarter. It's just having a look at it because it's quite cool. It's a game called Kugo. It is a dexterity set of games. It's like a kit for making various dexterity games. It comes with a load of games with it as well. But you can also kind of use it to make your own games as well. Really interesting idea. Like really well made. Really like it. And it funded within, I think, a few hours. I can't remember how many hours, but like 6, 7, 8 hours or something of being on Kickstarter. It's fully funded
20
already.
seconds.
So yeah, it really didn't take very long for them to get to fully funded, but they're just going after a load of stretch goals now as well. So go and have a look, see if it's interesting.
Sounds
That's
painful.
Kugo, Kugo. But if you want to come and try out the game, try before you buy. This is one of the only places in the world that you can do so. Apart from it will be at UK Games Expo next week as well. If you're going to UK Games Expo in a week or so's time.
Just undersold. Tabletop Tuesday there, Tim. Well done.
But it's the only place in London. It's the only place you'll be able to play it this week. There's nowhere else in the world you'll be able to play it. So this Tuesday, come along to the Loading Bar in Stoke, Newington. Try out Kugo. See if you like it, and then you can back it on Kickstarter. But also, one lucky winner will be winning an exclusive copy that you can't even buy anywhere in the world yet at the moment. You will win a copy of the game to go home with as well. So this is, world first as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure it's been given out anywhere else. So yeah, it's a really good one to come along to. It will be there on Tuesday the 28th. There will be more details tomorrow. So our live listeners, this will be a bit late, but for everyone else, there'll be more details on the top left-hand corner of bigredbarrel.com, or you can join the over 2,150 members of our meetup group on meetup.com. Search for Tabletop Tuesdays.
Tabletop Tuesday, the Loading Bar in Stoke, Newington, traditionally on a Tuesday. Go there to play Kugo. For it's the world exclusive. World's most powerful gaming bar.
World exclusive.
Yes.
Yes.
If you've enjoyed this show, you're a odd little fellow, but we love you all the same. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
You can go over to bigredbarrel.com. That's where we host these here websites. That's where the website we host these here podcasts and other things of that ilk. While you're there, you can go over to our Discord. There's a link available on the front of the website. We also have social media sites you can check us out on. We're available on X, Threads, and Facebook at Big Red Barrel. And if you fancy watching us live, we're available on Twitch at Big Red Barrel. We're available on YouTube, Big Red Barrel TV. And you can also, we put the links out for the live show. The links stay up. You can follow those links. You can watch the live version of the show before the edited one comes out. If you want to see what the differences are, it's usually just it sounds better as the edited version. Lot less mouth noises.
I like the mouth noises.
And I actually put the intro and the outro and stuff in. You get an exclusive intro if you're watching live. That's quite fun.
By exclusive, we mean terrible.
It's just me faffing about with the soundboard for 5 minutes before.
Oh, what a surprise! Yeah. What a surprise!
And then the intro as well. Yeah, extra content, bonus content, DLC.
I think you are really stretching the concept of bonus there by saying that you faffing about on a soundboard for 30 seconds.
DLC, Dan, Lim, Coleman.
Yeah, what?
Well, we didn't have a T, so DLC, Dan, Lim, Coleman.
I am not Lim.
You are Lim. Today you are
I'm
Lim.
Wow.
Yeah,
right,
I'm not easily impressed.
I think we can all agree we've had far too much attention for one day and that we should probably go now. Okay? All right. So we are going to wrap things up. Thank you for listening to us. Go to all the places on the internet that Coleman said you should go to. Ooh. But all we've got to do before we go is remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Lim.
Lies.
I'm still not happy about PlayStation London Studio getting shut down.
Well, no. Not good.
No.
Think of the iPads. Think of the iPads.
Somebody please think of the children.
Tim, no.
the hell? This is not becoming a thing.
Make it a thing, 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 make it a thing.
I'm glad I'm in charge of t-shirt designs as well, otherwise that could go badly.
Yeah. Right, we're going to go. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
Quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
And then the female shinobi is based on the daughter of a historical character as well. So they've got some historical
Also called
kind
Jeff.
of setting. Yeah, Jeff Jr.
Jeff the First.
and Jeff Senior.
Daughter of Jeff the First, Jeff the Second.